Hello explorers and welcome to another video. Today we are going to do day 10 of Advent of Code. So let's see here, day 10. Let's jump right into it. Syntax scoring. You ask the submarine to determine the best route to the deep sea cave, but it only replies syntax error in navigation subsystem online. All of them! All of them? The damage is worse than you thought. You bring up a copy of the navigation system, your puzzle input, and the navigation system syntax is made of several lines containing chunks. There are one or more chunks per line, and each chunk contains zero or more other chunks. Adjacent chunks are not separated by any delimiter. If any chunks stops, the next chunk, if any, can immediately start. Every chunk must open and close with one of four illegal pairs of matching characters. Parenthesis is legal chunk and contains no other chunks, as well as these square parameters or square brackets. More complex if it's valid chunks, yeah, we have a couple of those. Some of the lines are incomplete, but others are corrupted. Find and discard the corrupted lines first. A corrupted line is a line where a chunk closes with the wrong character, that is, where the character it opens and closes with do not form one of the four legal pairs listed above. Examples of corrupted chunks include, and such chunks can appear anywhere within a line and its presence causes a long line to be considered corrupted. For example, consider the following navigation subsystem. Yeah. And then there is a bunch of errors in that, and then they also have stop at the first incorrect closing character on the corrupted line. Did you know that the syntax checkers actually have constants to see get the highest score of syntax error in the file? It's true. To calculate the syntax error scored in a line, take the first illegal character on a line and look at the following table. And then you have 3 points, 57 points, 197 points, and 25,137 points. And all of these are primes, I believe, which is interesting. And then you should multiply them with the number of occurrences and then add them together. Find the first illegal character in each corrupted line of the navigation subsystem. What is the total syntax error score for those errors? So let's jump over to the code here. I prepared a bit, and we will put in our data. So we want that score to begin with, and let's see here. We go through our data, we read each line, then we want to trim that line and split it so we get each character of the line. String char array, like that, for each string C, char array. We want to do something. So here we want to have something that we can add and subtract from. Let's try deq of string. Chunk, new, let's see, deq, delay deq, array deq, that's the one. So let's see. And we want to have a switch statement of C, where case of that parenthesis we do something. We can do a chunk add that character. Like that. Break. Let's close this. We get a little bit more space. Space, the final frontier. And then we do this kind of thing, and then we do this kind of thing, and this kind of thing. And then we do the same for the other way around. Like this. And there we go. And here, we want to take chunk and peak, and if that is equals to that character, or if it not equal to that character, we will break. Let's see here, we will break the whole thing here, so for loop, call that, and we will break the for loop, and incorrect. Let's just do a count here. And count 0. And for this case, if we break the loop, we do count and we add 3. Else we do chunk. If we don't break the loop here, we can take chunk and just pop it to remove the last character there. And then we need to do the same thing for the other ones with a bit of a different values and numbers. So let's see here. Break. So let's see. Take this one. Could have been if statements as well. So here, if it's not, and we want it to be not equal to, that is important as well. Then we want 57, right? 57, yes. What's the next one? And then we have 197. And lastly, we'll have 25, 137. And in this case, we would like to see one of those, and in this case, we would like to see one of those. And that's pretty much it. We can take down here, count, and print that out, and see if we can run this. See what we get. It's running. We got 27,768. So that's not correct. And we got more than we should have. So let's see what the issue is here. First off, we need to determine which one was the incorrect one. It was this one. So this one is the third one. So let's go in here and take a break there and go 1, 2. So we have gotten 6 already for the first 2, which are not correct. So let's see why we think we should give ourselves that scoring even on the first rows. So let's see here. We will add some chunks. And let's see where the first... There we end up on the first one. So we have 7 chunks. The last one is chunk 6. So let's remove some things up here and add another one. And that should be chunk peak. Okay. So peak is the first one. So we want to have opposite of. Yeah, I have added. We want to push, of course. Yes, push is the right command. Push and pop. Let's see if that is better. So we don't add to the end of the list. Woo! Jesus! Now that's a lot. So let's see here if we end up in any of these cases. Down here. Then we want to stop our execution. We end up in that one. So let's see here. Our character array now is much longer. Ah, yes, of course. We want a new chunk array for each of these iterations. So we must restart for each line. No, that didn't help us. Let's see, chunk. Peak. Yeah, so that's correct. We pop it. And then we end up here. And we can pop that one as well. When we end up there, we can pop that one as well. And we can pop that one. Oh. Didn't I go through and check that all of them were not equal to? Yeah. So small copy paste issue. So 26,397. And that's the correct one here. So let's change over to our puzzle input then. Let's see, we move the count up here. And then we will change over like that and see what we get. 0. That was unexpected. Have I changed this one? No, I haven't. So let's do the right day. Could be good. Then we get 387,363. Let's put that in. Yeah, you get a gold star. I get a gold star. Everybody gets a gold star. Yes. Let's jump into part 2. Part 2. Now discard the corrupted lines. Remaining lines are incomplete. Incomplete lines don't have any incorrect characters. Instead, they are missing some closing characters at the end of the line. To repair the navigation subsystem, you just need to figure out the sequence of closing characters that complete all open chunks in a line. You can only use closing characters, and you must add them up in the correct order, so only illegal pairs are formed end up in all chunks, yeah? In this example. Did you know that autocomplete tools also have a contest? It's true. The score is determined by considering the completion strings characters by character, starting with a total score of 0, then for each character multiply the total score by 5, and then increase the total score by the point value given for the character in the following table. So for the last completion above, we have this kind of thing. Score as follows: start at 0, multiply the total score by 5, so get 0, and then add 2, and the new score is 2. We multiply that with 5, add 1, which is 11, multiply that with 5, add 3, and then multiply that with 5 and add 4, and so on. 5 lines complete, then are the scores as follows. Autocomplete tools are odd bunch. The winner is found by sorting all of the scores and then taking the middle score. There will always be an odd number of scores to consider. In this example, the middle score is that score, because there are same number of scores smaller and larger than it. Find the completion string for each incomplete line score, the completion string, and sort the scores. What's the middle score? Okay, this is gonna be interesting. So we have prepared our example well, because now we can go in here and look at our little code here, and then only consider what happens after we have gone through everything here. So we will break the for loop, which means that we will not continue with any other characters. We can also say that if we break the for loop, we can have a boolean here, valid, true, boolean, and if we come here, it's false, and we will copy that to the other lines as well, like that. We can add a new count here, count valid, put that to 0. We want to have it down here, count valid sum, we can do that. So we do count valid. No, we don't need to do count valid around this. We can do count valid after this. So here, right, for each string we do count valid, and if valid, then we will do this. We will add while chunk size is larger than 0. We will take chunk and pop it to get a string, and then we will take that string, and depending on what it is, so we can have a switch statement here again, like that, and then get all of these values that we have up here. Those are the ones that we want to consider, and here we want to, let's see what we said here. We want to add 1 point, so count valid plus 1, like that, and then plus 2, plus 3, and plus 4, like that. And here we want to take count valid and times it with 5. And after this, we can take count valid sum and add our count valid, like that. So let's see how this perform. So the first count valid is extremely high. which is not expected. None of them are that high. Let's see if we have the right line. We have that long line. Yeah, okay, we are looking at the wrong data again. Yeah, so let's go back to our for loop. So we don't have the actual end data. So we need to verify that everything is correct here. So the first one is there. We have 14,400. So that doesn't seem to be any of these. So let's go back here and see what we did wrong. So here we are. We should have, let's see, we should have this kind of a thing, except backwards. And we have those two, we have brackets, we have that, and those, yeah? Okay, so we do the multiplication before the actual adding. So let's see if that is more correct. Yeah, now we have 288,957, 288,957. Yes. And here we don't want to add to the valid sum. We want to take valid sums and add that to that array list. Like that. Create local variable. List of integer new array list. Like that. So now if we go down here, we should have a bunch of valid sets. Let's see. Yeah. So we have 5 valid and we have this kind of an arrangement. So we want to sort them. And that's just taking a collection, sort, count valid, like that. No, valid sums, that was what I wanted to sort. And then we want to take valid sums, get the index of valid sums size divided by 2. And we know this function already, the floor one. So we want math floor div of these two. Like that. And what do we get then if we print that out? Is that the right answer? Yeah, that's the right answer. 288,957. So let's try it with our full data set then and see if we get the right value. Let's do that. Run it with that. We get this huge number. Let's see here. It's 320,136,672. Put that in. You're not the right answer. It's too low. Okay. So I wonder if we have a bunch of equal values here. Oh, we We can't use these kind of punitive numbers here. We need to use big numbers, like big int, like that, and then we need to multiply with new big integer 5, like that, and then we need to add another big integer 1, because we're talking of really large numbers. Let's do this and add the other ones here, 2, 3, 4, and we want an array of really big numbers. Let's see here, valid sums, big integer. We still should be able to sort them, right? Let's do the first data set first and see if we get the right value there. 0, so that's not the right value. So what do we have here? Valid sums. Yeah, everything is 0 because we are adding and getting the result here. So that's a gotcha with big int, that they return the values. They are immutable. So now we should have 5 valid numbers. If we sort them, we get the right, and we get an output which is correct. So let's see if we get a better result with our larger data set now. Let's see here. We did something wrong here. Like that. Let's run it. Yeah, so we got 4,330,777,059. Almost nice. Yeah, you get a gold star. I get a gold star. Everybody gets a gold star. So what did we do here? Yeah, pretty much in the second part here, we had this DQ where we added things. We pushed to the DQ. And if you push something in, it will add that to the beginning of the list. When you pop, you will remove from the beginning of the list. If you peek, you look at the beginning of the list. So if we peek here, we see the last character that was added, which is the first one that we want to close. And we will see if we can find anyone that is valid here. So we go through the full list here and check if we find a valid set. If we have a valid set, we will just start at the count of 0. We will multiply that count with 5. We will pop the last value and then see which character we wanted to end it with. But as we pop the starting character, we can check the starting character. And then we will just add the values to that. We will add them into a list here. We will sort that list. And then we have this nifty div floor, because we know that the list is from 0 until max size -1. That's the indexable size of this array. So if we do floor of divided by 2, we'll get that index which is in the middle of the list. And then we will get the right result printed out. So this was day 10. I hope that you found this interesting. Perhaps you learned something today. Did you solve it in a totally different way? Leave a comment in the comment section down below. If you like this video, give it a like, share it with your friends and colleagues. If you haven't subscribed yet and want to see more puzzles, subscribe. And I really hope to see you in the next video.